Okay. You good to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jerry Sheridan. I'm the sheriff of Maricopa County, as you probably figured out. But I'd also like you to meet our special agent in charge of the FBI, Heath Janke, and he'll be speaking also. This case is probably one of the most bizarre cases I have ever seen in my 40 years with the Maricopa County Sheriffs Office. And we'll get into, we have Captain Lee here. He's our captain over investigations, major crimes, in our homicide unit. But before we do that, I'd also like to mention that the Sedona Police Department was involved in this case. And because of their involvement, probably saved some lives in apprehending this individual as quickly as they did, on a separate charge, however. Of course, the FBI was instrumental in helping us with some issues that we needed, and we've been working very closely also with the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. So this case is tragic and bizarre. And by bizarre, I mean the way the crime occurred and what happened after the crime. So again, Captain Lee will get into the nuts and bolts of that. And with that, I'd like to give our special agent in charge an opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good afternoon. I'm Heath Janke, the special agent in charge of the FBI's office here in Phoenix. On behalf of the FBI, I would like to extend my condolences to the family and loved ones of Pastor Schonemann, the congregation of the New River Bible Chapel, and the residents of New River. The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office is and remains the primary investigative agency in this case, and I thank the sheriff for allowing us to participate in this press conference. Stopping violent crime in our cities is a priority of the FBI. When a violent crime occurs in the state of Arizona, rest assured the FBI always stands ready to assist our state and local law enforcement partners to provide additional resources to help solve the crimes, to ensure subjects are brought to justice, and to provide assistance to the victims of crimes. At the request of the Sheriff's Department, our FBI office has done that in this case and will continue to provide any additional assistance the Sheriff's Office needs. The FBI routinely offers assistance to our local law enforcement partners to provide additional manpower and specialized resources. If we have a tool, a tactic, or a technique that could help further an investigation, we will provide it immediately. It was clear at the outset of this case that it was going to take a lot of fast and immediate action, and our investigators and our teams were poised to help. We responded with the appropriate personnel and resources to assist the Sheriff's Office from the start, and we remain available to assist as necessary. Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff.
Okay, and now Captain Lee will brief you on the details of the investigation.
Thank you, Sheriff Sheridan. Good afternoon. As he mentioned, I'm Captain Lee of the Major Crimes Divisions, where our homicide unit is housed. Speaking to you today to share information regarding the investigation into the homicide of Pastor William Schonemann. First, I'd like to share my own condolences with his family, his friends, and his congregation. I can't begin to imagine the pain and the loss that they're experiencing. MCSO and our Major Crimes Division remains committed to bringing justice. We grieve with you, and we want to hold the person responsible for this terrible act of violence against Pastor Bill. Having said that, and as the sheriff mentioned, I'd like to point out the homicide investigations take time. This one was particularly delicate as it involved multiple other jurisdictions and related investigations. Our investigators during this investigation left their families, missed events, literally spent days away from their families without going home. They chased down leads. They spent over 100 hours, and certain individuals spent over 100 hours in a single work week pursuing leads in this case. I tell you this not to ask for your sympathy. We know what the job takes. We signed up for it, and we're willing to do it, but we appreciate everyone's patience as we piece together the timelines, as we process multiple scenes even followed dead ends, conducted interviews, coordinated with other jurisdictions, and served search warrants, gathered forensic evidence, and so forth. When we don't share certain information initially, it's because some of that information has importance to the investigation and the integrity of it, and those things can jeopardize our strategy. And as we say, we don't know what we don't know sometimes. Sometimes that information can have future significance that we're unaware of. Some details are only known to us and the suspect, and so that helps us to verify also that we have the right person as the focus of our investigation. The ultimate goal of this investigative process is to prevent further violence and danger in the community, to identify the correct suspect, and to put together a complete investigation and ensure the successful prosecution so that we can bring some small semblance of justice and closure to the family and friends of our victim. So as you may know, our victim is 76-year-old Pastor William Schonemann. The suspect's name is Adam Schaeffer. In the early parts of April 2025, Adam Schaeffer left his home state, walked away from his job, and traveled to Arizona. Adam Schaeffer had a plan. In late April, he was in the area of the New River Bible Church, where Bill is the pastor, and a community member noted his suspicious behavior. In the days following, Adam Schaeffer is alleged to have committed a burglary in the area, and as he fled as law enforcement was arriving, and law enforcement was unable to apprehend him at that time, unfortunately. Law enforcement did take some of his property at that time as evidence. Schaeffer returned to the area and is alleged to have stolen a vehicle in the days preceding the homicide. William Schonemann was last seen alive on April 27th. On April 28th in the evening, a welfare check was conducted on Bill, and at this time he was found in his home where he lived alone, deceased, and the homicide investigation commenced. Out of respect for Pastor Schonemann and his family, I won't be sharing details of the crime scene today. The scene and Bill's church were processed for about 2 days, where we're looking for possible evidence and signs of a motive. Based on what we found, it did not appear that robbery or theft was a motive in this case. On April 29th, Sedona PD was called to investigate a series of crimes to include a burglary, unlawful flight from law enforcement, a minor hit-and-run collision in which the previously mentioned vehicle allegedly stolen by Schaeffer was recovered by Sedona PD near a trailhead. Schaeffer was unfortunately again not apprehended at that time. Items recovered from that vehicle suggested a link to our homicide scene. On April 30th, MCSO was made aware of the suspicious behavior previously mentioned by Adam Schaeffer at the New River Bible Church. This was a crucial link in our investigation. MCSO and Sedona PD began to collaborate in this case, and Adam Schaeffer was subsequently taken into custody by Sedona PD with the help of Yavapai County Sheriff's deputies, as well as a regional quick response force. At this time, I'd like to stress that William Schonemann is a true victim in every sense of the word. We are unaware of any tie between Schonemann and Schaeffer, and there are no known credible allegations of criminal activity, criminal association, or activity by William Schonemann that would have led to this tragedy. He was targeted at random. At this time, we have information that suggests Schaeffer acted alone, and there is no further danger to the community from Adam Schaeffer. The information we have has indicated that the motive was religious in nature, and that there were a number of future victims planned, some of those in Arizona, and that he had taken action in furtherance of those additional crimes. We have been in contact with those identified victims, and we are investigating or assisting with those incidents as well. Charges are pending and are planned to be submitted very shortly. The investigation is wrapping up. Once those charges have been submitted and an indictment decision's been made, we will have additional details that we could make available to the public. At this time, as the investigation is wrapping up, I have to remind everyone that these are still allegations and that Adam Schaeffer is innocent until proven guilty. I'd like to thank the community, the homicide team and members, the crime lab personnel, the data analysts, the FBI, Sedona, Yavapai County, and the other law enforcement partnerships that we've worked with in this region that have brought this investigation to where it is now. Thank you. All right. I don't know how this works. Okay.
So without saying as much as you can.
That was evidence that was recovered from some of the scenes that we processed.
And then how many victims were on?
from interviews. There is a known number, and I'm not ready to share that number at this time, as it may affect the investigation. Go ahead. At this time, I can confirm that there was a subsequent victim or one that was occurring at the same time, and there were some actions taken towards that one, but it didn't work out for unfortunately. At this time, we can say that the motive of what we know is religious. He did make statements. That's all I can say.
They were shaken up about it.
Oh, understandably so. Yeah, this was very, very heinous, and the problem with balancing the investigation and the needs of the community is we want to make sure that the community feels safe, but we also have information that we can't share. As far as the timeline goes, I don't know that I can confirm when certain interview or information was shared, but I do know that we were called to that scene in the evening of the 28th, and that by the 30th, we were relatively certain that we had a lone suspect in custody.
Victims?
I shouldn't confirm that at this time. You can always, in hindsight, look back and find things and ways to improve.
About how this started.
Timeline.
I know, but can you talk specifically about like a potential state of mind? I know.
Ends up quite a thread into the investigation. Your question is very relevant, and unfortunately, I'd like to withhold that information until we get to that point. All right, go ahead.
I was going to say, was there any information on
I would really prefer not to get into that. Are we able to share criminal history? I don't believe we are.
He has an extensive
Yeah,
criminal history.
there's extensive criminal history in another state, and here.
Have you talked to the family of the son yet?
Yeah, we've talked to the family. I missed your hand as well, sorry.
I have another question. Go back.
You said
Do you know roughly how long you've been planning these attacks?
point. We do know that from the time he left until the time that he committed the first murder was less than a month. The time he left his home state.
I know you mentioned that these victims were selected at random, or at least Pastor Schonemann was targeted at random. Any indication on how he went about choosing these victims? How he
I-
found Pastor Schonemann?
Yes, there's some indications of how he discovered that information, but we can't share that right now. Go ahead.
You mentioned extensive criminal history in another state. Did that
include violent crime, or you're not able to say?
That included violent crime.
What state is that?
Hmm?
His home state?
I prefer not to say at this time.
Yeah, two more questions.
Is the sheriff able to elaborate on exactly what makes the case so bizarre, the bizarrest you've seen in 3 or 4 years in law enforcement?
Well, like the captain said, out of respect for the family, not at this time. And we will do a follow-up press conference once we have the suspect indicted and charged. And then we'll be able to answer some of these questions for you. And we did this press conference, at your request. We got a lot of pressure, and it's a little bit premature, but we didn't want to put you off any longer because the public does have a right to know. And as far as us saying that there was no longer a threat to the community, well, we kind of knew that we had the right guy. And he was in custody, and he still is in custody in Coconino County. Yes.
Charges, recommended, what are we?
We're in the process of doing that now, and I don't know, Captain, do you want to talk about that?
Sure. Yeah, there will be.
Thank you, Sheriff. There's going to be ongoing collaboration with the county attorney's office as we work through some of the other crimes that were committed in addition to the homicide, and also with the furtherance of some of the other planned events.
Has he confessed or admitted to doing this?
At this time, I'd prefer not to comment on the status of the interviews because there's still information that we need.
We're good.
Okay.
I want to clear something up real quick. He's not in our custody. When he's extradited to the sheriff's custody, we will advise when that happens. Number two, no charges have been filed. As the captain said, we're working with the county attorney. And the other thing I just want to add on to what the sheriff said, when we put out the statement from the office that there was no threat to the community, he was in custody already. That's what made it so sure. And we always do these things with the communities, thinking about public safety all the time. So we appreciate you guys coming out. The second we have more information that's releasable, we will shoot it out to you guys. Thank you.